something for you. We got something for you. It's something Megapod shiny. It's wrapped in Megapod plastic. Put on your Megapod jammy. It's time for Megapod-tastic. 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 Megapod-tastic.
Good morning. Welcome to Crazy Joe's Concession Stand. I'm Crazy Joe. Tonight we are recording the audio podcast, the latest Crazy Joe's Concession Stand audio podcast that's going to go down the audio feed. And we have a couple things to discuss, including some potential giveaways. Some giveaways that are coming up. Our friends at Paramount Pictures have reached out to us and given us permission to give away two different movies. And both of them animated films, both of them family friendly, good for the kids. And we can give them away. I don't have them in hand yet. Again, I'm still waiting for them. So we're going to have to figure out a way to give these out. I think Brucifer, Kingdom of Nerds, Brucifer provided me with a randomizer that'll let you, in a live chat, people can put a hashtag and then you can, boop, 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 and then it picks out a name and they win. So when these things come in, I'll be able to give them away. But the two titles Paramount has reached out to me to pass on to you guys are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem on Blu-ray. That's the first one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem on Blu-ray. Fantastic movie. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is now on Blu-ray and digital. After years of hiding, the Turtle Brothers hit the streets of New York to take on an army of mutants in this hilarious action-packed adventure. Enjoy over 40 minutes of bonus content when you buy it on Blu-ray. Rated PG from Paramount Pictures. So how awesome is that? We're going to be able to give away at least a couple of copies. I don't know how many they're going to send me, but we're going to be able to give away some copies of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem on Blu-ray. And the other one is, they send me some on-air copy to read, and I have to, it's in a separate email. The other one is Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie. Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie. Not a film I've seen, but if you have kids, this might be something your kids are the Paw Patrol is incredibly popular with kids. And bring home Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie on Blu-ray and digital now, when a magical meteor crash lands in Adventure City and transforms the Paw Patrol pups into the Mighty Pups. Two supervillains team up to steal the superpowers for themselves in this all-new big screen adventure. The fun starts at home with Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie on Blu-ray and digital today, rated PG from Paramount Pictures. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to Crazy Joe's Concession Stand, and we'll figure out how we can get those copies to you. So yeah, thank you to Paramount Pictures. We appreciate that. And hey, let's talk about some of what's going on. I mean, it's Christmas time, and the Christmas season is fully upon us. And I was watching one of my favorite Christmas movies just last night, Santa Claus the Movie. Santa Claus the Movie, 1985. From the Salkinds, Alexander Salkind, who did Superman the movie and Superman 2, 3, Supergirl, and their follow-up to the Superman movies was Santa Claus the Movie. Hang on a second, I got the 4K disc over here. Oh, where is it? There it is. Santa Claus the Movie. If you're listening to the audio, you can't see it, but Santa Claus the Movie is now available on 4K Ultra HD, but it's only available in the United Kingdom. Can't get it here in the United States, but that's okay because 4K discs, for the most part, are region free. And Amazon UK will ship to the United States. This is a very interesting movie because it came out in 1985, made a big splash when it came out here. It was merchandised like you wouldn't believe. McDonald's had a tie-in. There was all kinds of McDonald's giveaways for Santa Claus the movie. They were giving away storybooks, Christmas ornaments. But this was one of those movies that was like a merchandising juggernaut. There was everything. You went to the toy stores. There you'd find coloring books, like any kind of licensed merchandise. They didn't have like action figures. They didn't have like that. I guess they figure what kid wants to play with a Santa Claus action figure, but they had like all the other stuff. So, storybooks, coloring books, all kinds of Christmas ornaments. Of course, it's Santa Claus. So this movie was pretty big when it opened, in terms of like the marketing behind it. But oddly enough, it's kind of a forgotten film in the United States. In fact, very often I say to people, Santa Claus the movie, and they go, "Oh, with Tim Allen." I'm like, no, not with Tim Allen. That's The Santa Claus. That came out about 9 years later. And I like The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. It's a fine film. This is the better movie. This movie is more magical, more whimsical. And it's also, you know what? There's a little bit of bias. I'm an 80s kid. I grew up in the 80s. This has that 80s flair to it. It's just got that 80s flair. There's even a cameo for no apparent reason. Not explained why it's there, but there is a cameo by the A-Team van. The A-Team van that Mr. T drove on the A-Team makes a weird cameo appearance in this movie. Just parked on the side of the road. No one mentions it. They just pass it by. There's the A-Team van. This movie is so 80s. And that 80s aesthetic also might help endear it to me because I'm an 80s kid at heart. But I watched this last night on 4K. I got to say, the 4K disc, and again, I had this imported from England because I needed to have it. But the 4K disc, you're probably fine with the Blu-ray. I didn't really see, I didn't think that this transfer was frankly that great. It's okay. I mean, it's probably as good as this movie's ever going to look. But I don't think it needs this 4K is necessary. I think you could watch this movie in regular 1080p. In fact, it came with a the 4K disc, or the 4K disc is region free, but it comes with a Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray is not region free. The Blu-ray was region locked. So I kind of just took out the region locked Blu-ray that is worthless to me and stuck in my old Blu-ray from the 25th anniversary in there. So I do have a working Blu-ray in this set. So there you go. But the reason I brought this up is I love this movie. I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie. And I have a great love of T-shirts with movie posters on them. I really like movie poster T-shirts. It's just a thing I'm into. I got a lot of movie posters on T-shirts. Back to the Future, Jaws, RoboCop. I got some weirder ones too, like Jaws 2, Psycho 2. But I always like getting a movie poster on a T-shirt. And I started wondering if I could find the movie poster for Santa Claus the movie on a T-shirt. And sure enough, I found it on Redbubble. So I bought it yesterday. I ordered it on Redbubble yesterday. But what was really cool, and this is a long tangent just to get to this. What was really cool was after I put it in my cart, they put in suggestions like, hey, if you like that, maybe you'll like this. And they showed me a T-shirt with the movie poster for the fake movie. The fake movie, The Day the Reindeer Died. I don't know if you remember that, or it was The Night the Reindeer Died. The Night the Reindeer Died was a fake movie from the movie Scrooged with Bill Murray. At the beginning of the movie, we get a trailer for a movie starring Lee Majors called The Night the Reindeer Died. And the poster, Redbubble, had it on a T-shirt. And I'll bring the poster up right now. If you give me a second to to get it here for you. Again, if you're listening to the audio, visuals don't do you much good. By the way, I see we have some people in the chat. I'll get to the chat in just a second. I apologize. I don't even have the chat up right now. So like I can see that people are there, but I can't actually see what anybody's saying right now. So let's see. Here we go. The night the reindeer died. Sorry if you're listening to the audio, you can't see that. But that's the poster. It's from the movie Scrooged with Bill Murray. And this comes up on a t-shirt. And it's like, hey, if you like that, you can get this. And I'm a sucker. So I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Throw that in the cart. Throw that in the cart. We want the t-shirt for the night the reindeer died. So that is on its way. And frankly, I couldn't be more excited about it. And you know what? I won't even just wear that at Christmas time. I'll wear that year round. Because you know why? Movie posters. I'm so weird. I'm so compartmentalized. Like this is a Christmas shirt. I'll only wear this at Christmas. Looking for the Christmas spirit. I'll only wear that at Christmas. Won't wear it any other time of year. But a movie poster, even if it's a Christmas movie, it's a movie poster. I'll wear that year round. I don't care. So, all right, let's go to the comments, see who's here. All right, King's Portal is here. Good. Super Jeff is here. Super Jeff says I'm really into the '87 series. You're talking about Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles. Okay. Yeah. King's Portal says nobody is listening to this but us, Joe. Well, there you go. Nobody is ever listening except the people who are listening. Jacob's here. Good to see you, Jacob. Jacob says he does look like Tim Allen a bit. Well, you know, Santa Claus the movie from 1985 starred David Huddleston, who is best known as the Big Lebowski. There were two Jeffrey Lebowskis. There was the Dude, and then there was the Big Lebowski. He was the Big Lebowski. And let me tell you, when I see him in movies and TV, he very often plays kind of a creepy dude. The Big Lebowski wasn't the nicest guy. He was kind of a creep on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He played like one of Frank's rivals in the Christmas episode, no less. So another connection he has to Christmas. He was in the Christmas episode of It's Always Sunny. But it's funny because he's often playing like a kind of a bad guy or a jerk or a complete a-hole. But in this movie, I think he's one of the most lovable screen Santas of all time. I can't think of a single screen Santa I actually like better than him. So there you go. Brent Mania says Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I watched that tonight, and it's an odd movie. That is a classic. That is a classic. Super Jeff says, it's also also so 80s. Ernest Saves Christmas. Just this past year, they tore down the house that Ernest lived in Ernest Saves Christmas. It was in Orlando, Florida. The whole movie was shot in Orlando, Florida. My friend Adam the Woo and his friend, whom I've never met, World of Micah, both did videos showing the house and how it got torn down. So there you go. Strange Marvel Theories. Good morning to you. Isaac's here. Good to see you, Isaac. And there you go. King's Portal says he did look familiar from the cover. All right. There's a couple of things. I'm gonna put the chat away because I don't want to get distracted. I'll come back to you guys. Don't worry. I will come back to you guys. But another thing I want to talk about. I talked about this briefly with a little movie perp the other day, and I want to get this out to my podcast audience too because it's something I feel pretty serious about. I just finished a book. There's a book out there that just came out. A lot of people have been talking about it, called Opposable Thumbs: How Siskel and Ebert Changed the Movies Forever. A big, in-depth story about the partnership of Siskel and Ebert and their individual careers, how they came together, how they at first did not like each other. They eventually did become pretty close, but at first it was just oil and water. They did not like each other on screen or off, but they did warm to each other as time went on. but they became the two most famous, probably, movie critics in history. And it's funny because I finished reading that book and I started thinking about things that I'm seeing online. And it occurred to me that film criticism lately has become extremely dishonest. Disingenuous is the word I would use. Disingenuous, because people seem to have agendas and they use those agendas to judge the movies and not actually the quality of the film. And a couple instances I've seen lately in this are James Gunn just announced some casting for Superman Legacy. And he announced his brother, Sean Gunn, is going to be playing Maxwell Lord going forward in the DC universe. Now, to those of you who don't know Maxwell Lord, he's a character that was created by Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis back in 1987 for their run of Justice League International. And if you got the visual up there, that's Maxwell Lord. And he became the leader of the Justice League. He was the leader of the Justice League. He was the one who kind of spearheaded the Justice League getting international sanction from the UN, and he became their leader. Whereas he was the main leader, and then Martian Manhunter was kind of the field commander. Like if they were out in the field, Max wasn't a superhero; he's a businessman. So he was making all the decisions for the league, who joins the league. But in the field, they were following Martian Manhunter. Great character, terrific character. I love Maxwell Lord, and I'm excited he's going to be in these movies. But a lot of people online started complaining because James Gunn cast his brother, and they started going nepotism. And if you notice, if you look at the people who were making these complaints, they were people who were predisposed to hate James Gunn anyway. People who've been complaining about James Gunn for one reason or another. You can pick your reasons for why they don't like him, but these are people who already had an anti-James Gunn agenda, and suddenly they're concerned about nepotism. How dare he cast his brother? And this is disingenuous. It is disingenuous. It is not honest. And the reason is because if you look at the history of Hollywood, going all the way back to the beginning, filmmakers always have certain actors that they like to work with, certain actors that they put in all their movies. And very often, when a filmmaker has a sibling or a family member who's also in the industry, they end up in that repertory group of players. And that's just going all the way back as far as you can remember. And I said, if you are complaining that James Gunn cast his brother, but you used to watch Laverne and Shirley, the old sitcom Laverne and Shirley, and never once complained that Gary Marshall, the creator of Laverne and Shirley, cast his sister as one of the two leads. If you never complained about that, but now you're complaining that James Gunn cast Sean Gunn, you are being dishonest with yourself and with your criticism. If you watched the Spider-Man movies directed by Sam Raimi and never once complained that Sam Raimi put his brother Ted Raimi in all those movies. Ted Raimi was also in the Evil Dead movies. Did you complain about that? Because if you didn't complain about that, if you liked those movies and did not complain, you're not being honest. If you love the Godfather trilogy, and have never once complained that Talia Shire, the sister of Francis Ford Coppola, was one of the main stars in the Godfather trilogy, but now you're complaining that Sean Gunn got cast, you're being dishonest. And I can go on and on and on. We can go on to Tim Burton, who always casts his girlfriends. Lisa Marie was the big-haired Martian girl in Mars Attacks. The Martian girl who just kept chewing gum with the big long beehive. That was Tim Burton's girlfriend. He eventually broke up with her, started dating Helena Bonham Carter. Suddenly she was in all his movies. She was in Planet of the Apes, and she was in I don't know, was she in Charlie and the Chocolate? I don't know. She was in a lot of his movies after that. Sweeney Todd. So she started showing up in his movies. And Lil Movie Perp was telling me he's got a new girl he's dating. I don't know who she is. I don't remember. He told me. I forgot. But apparently she's in Beetlejuice too. So Tim Burton's still at it. He's still casting his girlfriend in all his movies. Anyone complained about that? I haven't heard complaints. Maybe you've been complaining. I just didn't hear it. I don't know. But if you've never been complaining about it, but James Gunn casting his brother is suddenly a bridge too far, you're not being honest. Another thing that has come up in the past week, there was a meme online. Let me see if I can find a meme. There was a meme regarding the new Godzilla movie. And again, it was dishonest. Let me see if I can find this. I'm not going to be able to find it. No, I'm not. I mean, not quickly. Oh, wait. Nope. I got it. Here we go. Here's the meme. Not the best quality version of it. It's a little fuzzy, but we'll bring this up here. So I'm on Twitter and I see this meme. Let me stop. I still got The Night the Reindeer Died on deck. I got to take that down. This meme comes up in my Twitter feed the other day. Godzilla Minus Zero, kind of very popular movie out right now. I've seen it twice. Great movie. Highly recommend Godzilla Minus Zero if you haven't seen it. But this meme pops up now. If you're not watching the video, let me explain it to you. It shows an image of Godzilla. Again, this is a really fuzzy meme. I'm sorry, this is the best I could find on a Google search. But it shows an image of Godzilla from Godzilla Minus One. And it says 15 million for a 2-hour movie in Japan. And it shows you Godzilla looking fierce and totally badass, like he's ready to wreck some shit. Then the next image is an image of MODOK with his helmet off from the movie Ant-Man Quantumania. And it says 200 million for a 2-hour movie in America. And what this meme is trying to tell us is, look how much better that Japanese thing looks. Look how crappy Ant-Man looked. Oh my Lord. The Japanese in 15 million made something look so good, and ours look like garbage. That's what this meme's trying to tell you. But again, it's a lie. It's dishonest. It's disingenuous. Why? Because you have to look at intent. If you've seen the movie Ant-Man Quantumania, then you know in the movie, MODOK was treated as a joke. It was a gag. When you met MODOK, he had a helmet on. And they didn't know what he looked like under that helmet. And when he took the helmet off, and we saw what he looked like, and when we saw it was Yellow Jacket from the first Ant-Man movie had turned into this thing, it was a gag. And we were supposed to laugh at it. Now, we discussed this on Mac's stream the other day, and Max's response was, well, I didn't find it funny. Okay. Doesn't matter if you found it funny. That's another topic. Another topic is, was this joke funny or not? And you could say, yay or nay, it was funny, it wasn't funny. That's a different topic. But the topic here is intent. And it was clearly intended to make you laugh. Now, look, I could watch The Three Stooges, and I could have a friend with me watching The Three Stooges, and we could be sitting watching The Three Stooges together, and he could laugh his ass off, and I'm not going to find it funny because I don't think The Three Stooges are funny. I just don't. A lot of people love The Three Stooges. I don't think they're funny. So they're going to be sitting there throwing pies at each other's face and poking each other in the eyes. He's going to be busting a gut laughing. I'm not, because I don't find it funny. But I also know that what they're doing is doing with the purpose of trying to make me laugh. I recognize that this is a gag. This is a joke. The intent is for me to laugh. I don't find it funny, but I know what the intent was. This Ant-Man, MODOK takes off his helmet and he looks silly. And the other characters comment in the movie, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" And it's a joke amongst the characters how ridiculous he looks. He's got these tiny little legs. Like, I mean, it's just goofy as shit. Because they want you to laugh. So you can't point to something intended to elicit laughter and say they screwed that up. I mean, are you really? You're either being dishonest or you're lying. One or the other. Well, that's the same thing. Yeah, excuse me. You're being dishonest or you're stupid. Those are your two options. You either recognize that this was a joke and that this wasn't supposed to look scary and menacing, and you're just putting this out there to try to put over the other thing, or you're really dumb. Like, if you're not lying and you really think this is fair, then you're really dumb, because you're basically saying you think the special effects artists were trying to make that character look scary or threatening or something else, and they failed. They were so bad at their job, they failed at the intent they were trying to put across. I mean, does anybody think that? Does anybody really think that these special effects artists didn't intend for MODOK to look exactly the way he looked in that movie? And like I told Max the other day on Max's stream, the joke wouldn't have worked if he didn't look goofy. And then Max said, well, it didn't work for me anyway. Okay, that's another topic. That's another topic. But if I tell you a joke and I leave out the punchline, there's a 100% chance it's not going to be funny because I left out the punchline. If I tell you a joke and give you the punchline, it's a 50-50 shot you're going to find it funny. You might find it funny, you might not. Guarantee you won't find it funny if you don't get the punchline. And the gag that he looks goofy totally doesn't have a punchline if he doesn't look goofy. He's got to look weird. He's got to look silly. Because if he doesn't look weird, if he doesn't look silly, this joke has no punchline. So to put a meme like this out there and go, this is what 15 million gets you in Japan, this is what 200 million gets you in America, you're being dishonest. You're comparing apples to oranges, and it's not honest. And this is what film criticism has come to these days. And it's a little sad. It's a little sad. I'm disappointed. Why can't people just like what they like or dislike what they dislike and not try to move the goalposts to be something else? Like we're in an age now where it's like, if you didn't like Ant-Man 3, a lot of the people online, a lot of the online commentators, if you didn't like Ant-Man 3, it's not enough that you didn't like Ant-Man 3. You have to convince everyone else that if they did like it, they're wrong. If you liked the Marvels, something wrong with you. And that's another thing. That's another thing. The Marvels. Let's talk about the Marvels. Marvels bombed at the box office. Totally bombed at the box office. And a thing I keep seeing on Twitter or Facebook is people will say things like, well, if it was good, it would have been a hit. If it was good, it would have been a hit. Because that's why people didn't see it. It wasn't good. Again, that's dishonest. That's dishonest. Because logic dictates that in order to know if something is good or not, you had to have seen it. Now, if you say it didn't look good to me, if you say the trailer didn't move me to want to see the movie, again, that's a different conversation. Because I've seen trailers that I didn't think looked good, and then I go see the movie, and the movie was great. I've seen movies that had great trailers, go to see the movie sucked. The trailer is a commercial to try to convince you to see the thing. And that's true of any product. That's true of any product. I could see a commercial for a brand new soda that just hit the market and say, well, that doesn't interest me. I'm not interested. But then I go to a friend's house. They say, hey, have you tried this new soda? They pour me one. I take a taste and go, oh, damn, that is good. Commercial didn't sell me on it. But when it was served to me and I tasted it, I said, I like that. I like that. That was good. The marketing was bad. Didn't convince me to buy it, but I tasted it. It was good. It's a different conversation. Because film history is littered with classic films that did not perform well at the box office. We were just talking about The Big Lebowski. Santa Claus, the movie. David Huddleston starred as The Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski is a very, very popular movie now. Very popular. It's probably Joel and Ethan Coen. They've made a lot of great movies. It's probably their most popular film, I think. It's the one that seems to have permeated the pop culture the most. People love The Big Lebowski. Box office flop. Box office flop, The Big Lebowski. Found its audience on VHS. Or DVD. I guess it was DVD at the time. Citizen Kane. Box office flop. The Wizard of Oz. Box office flop. It's a Wonderful Life. It's Christmas time. Christmas time. Everybody watches Wonderful Life every year. That found its audience on television. You know why? Because it fell into the public domain. Every TV station could get their hands on it for free because it was in the public domain. So all these TV stations started running it. Didn't make a dime in the movies. Nobody went to see that in the movies. Found an audience on TV. Now it's considered a classic. We can take it to more modern films. Blade Runner. Austin Powers. Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Did not perform well at the box office. Got 2 sequels because of how well it performed on VHS. So if you're going to sit there and say, if this movie was good, it would have made money at the box office. That's a bullshit argument. And it either proves again, you're being dishonest, you're being disingenuous to try to push your agenda, whatever that agenda may be, or you're ignorant of movie history. That's the way it is. All right, let's take a look at the comments here. I see some of you guys are commenting. Jeff says he loves the Three Stooges. A lot of people do, man. I know. I'm in the minority on this. I guess I've never really been one for slapstick humor. I kind of like more. I like witty dialogue, like the Airplane. You know, Airplane. Like they do the wordplay. Like Shirley, you can't be serious. I am serious. Don't call me Shirley. I'm more of a fan of like wordplay, like that. That makes me laugh. Funny dialogue. But Three Stooges has never slapstick has never been my thing. But obviously, a lot of people love it. Some of the most popular that there is. Degrassi Knowles is here. Says, how many Gary Marshall movies was Hector Elizondo in? 10, 12? Yeah. Yep. And then Anthony says, and Godfather 3 sucked because Sofia Coppola can't act. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. There you go. You need people who can act too. You need people who can act. That's the thing. So like I always say, the one I give a hard time to is Rob Zombie. Because Rob Zombie puts his wife in everything and she can't act. And that's the difference. Like Sean Gunn, he can act. Ted Raimi, he can act. Sherry Moon Zombie, not a good actress, but he puts her in everything. So there you go. Degrassi says, 3 of my favorite filmmakers shit the bed this year. 1 did not, but I still feel all 4 should retire. I'm curious as to who that is, who we're talking about. And Isaac, exactly. Isaac pops in. Isaac, the biggest movie fan, says MODOK always looked silly in the comics. And yeah, you're right. I remember for years they talked about putting MODOK in a movie, and people always said, "Well, MODOK's too goofy looking. He's too silly looking." So Peyton Reed leaned into that. He's like, "All right, we got this character that everybody knows is silly looking. What do? We make it a joke. We make it a joke." So there you go. Degrassi Knowles says explanation is joke murder most of the time. Sometimes joke explanation makes the joke funnier. For example, there was an old episode of Alf where Willie Tanner told a joke, and it wasn't a funny joke, but it was funny because of the way he told it. And the way he told it was he came in and said, "Oh, Kate, have I ever told you the joke about the footprints in the cheesecake?" And she says, "No." And he says, "How do you know an elephant has been in your refrigerator?" She says, "How?" And he says, "There are footprints in the cheesecake." And I laughed so hard. The joke wasn't funny, but the fact that he opens with the punchline and then tells the joke, but we already know the punchline, made it funny. Like that made it really funny. So there you go. Anthony says Ant-Man 3 and the Marvels equals Blade Runner. Yeah, there you go. And in fact, I'd say they're better than Blade Runner. Blade Runner is a very overrated movie. Isaac says, I don't like how those people are saying Trolls 3 did better than Wish when they're both not doing good. Wish was better. Oh, yeah, Wish was a great movie. Wish was a tremendous movie. But look, again, I've said time and time again, we all know why these movies aren't performing well. It's nothing to do with quality. Most of these movies that failed this year, the quality was there. They were good movies. We know they were good movies. We can see the critic score. Critics liked them. We can see the certified audience score. And you keep in mind, you only can look at the certified audience score. If you look at the whole audience score, you're subjecting yourself to possible review bombing. But the certified score of people we know bought a ticket. And the certified score is very often high. So we know that these are movies that people liked, but they didn't do well. So, okay, why didn't they do well? The answer seems obvious. It's because they deprioritized going to the movies. They prioritized streaming. And they told people, hey, these are coming to your home. These are going to be on Disney Plus. These are going to be on HBO Max. So the people wait because there's no longer an urgency. The greatest example, Wish, Disney animated film. Disney, oh my God, nobody killed their brand like Disney with the streaming. The streaming really devalued Walt Disney Animation and Pixar Animation. A couple of years ago, Encanto comes out. And Encanto, they open it on November 24th. So they open this thing on November 24th. But when they open it in theaters, they announced at the same time, oh, by the way, in 1 month on Christmas Eve, 1 month from today, you can watch this on Disney Plus. Nobody went to see Encanto in the theater. That movie bombed. Nobody went to see it. But guess what? A month later, it opened on Disney Plus. And suddenly it became a phenomenon. Suddenly everybody was singing, We Don't Talk About Bruno. We Don't Talk About Bruno became the most successful Disney song in a movie since A Whole New World and Aladdin, I think it was. Like over 20 some years. So the movie was good. People liked the movie. The quality was there. It entertained people. Why didn't they go see it? Because on day one, Disney announced, oh, by the way, you only have to wait 30 days. 30 days, this is coming to your house. You can stay home and watch this on TV in 30 days. And they trained audiences over the course of the last 2 to 3 years to do that. They released 3 consecutive Pixar movies. Pixar, the top line of highest quality of animation there is. And they went and they said, oh, by the way, Soul, Luca, Turning Red, all going directly to your television. And then the people are like, well, it's animation, Disney animation. This is the thing we get for free on television. We don't have to go out to see this. Starting to turn around. Elemental showed that the people it was turning around, but it was a slow burn. Degrassi says, make Christmas weekend a Wonka Man weekend. A Wonka Man. I have tickets already to both movies. I'm going on Saturday to see Wonka. Got my tickets already. Got my tickets for Thursday the 21st for Aquaman. And I couldn't be more excited. Jacob says, Joe, Spider-Man is the most searched superhero on Google. That's pretty cool. I can't say I'm surprised. I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, like I'd say that if you we're going to be honest, Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman are probably the three biggest superheroes of all time. So if someone was going to be the most searched, it would have to be one of those three. Anthony says, the problem with your argument is Marvel has always made money until very recently. What happened recently is the movies aren't as good. Except that's not true. The movies are just as good. The Marvels is great. Thor Love and Thunder was terrific. Multiverse of Madness was terrific. Problem is people are waiting for streaming. They prioritized streaming because you say until recently. Well, until recently is until COVID. Post-COVID, the people really haven't gone back to the theater. That's all there is to it. The one that did the best was Multiverse of Madness. That came within like a hair of I think it was like 200 million away, could have hit $1 billion. That one was pretty successful. Thor Love and Thunder was pretty successful. So yeah, but no, people are just staying home. Like we saw it all year. And the thing is, again with the dishonesty, people are fragmented in where they're laying the blame. And in being fragmented and where they're laying the blame, they're missing the big picture. Because you have people who say it's superhero fatigue. People aren't going to see superhero movies anymore. That's what it is, superhero fatigue. It's like, oh, okay. Well, then explain to me why Mission Impossible 7 underperformed. Why did Indiana Jones underperform? It's not a superhero movie. I mean, it's not just superhero movies that are underperforming. Why did Wish underperform? It's not a superhero movie. It's not superhero fatigue. In fact, two of the movies that did make it this year were Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Spider-Man. Those are two of the ones that broke the odds. They were superhero movies. So it's not superhero fatigue. Then some people say, well, it's Disney. People are boycotting Disney. People don't like Disney because it went woke. That big boogeyman that means absolutely jack shit. It's woke. Everything I don't like is woke. This engine is woke. Yeah. There's no bigger load of bullshit than the fake woke agenda. There's a woke agenda. No, woke isn't a thing. It isn't a thing. It's not real. It's a boogeyman. It's a phantom boogeyman. So yeah, no, it's Disney. They're boycotting Disney. Then how come Mission Impossible didn't do well? That wasn't Disney. How come all the DC movies didn't do well? They're not Disney. Then we got guys like John Campea. Look at the DC movies. I like John Campea. I do. He's good. But he's wrong here. Look at the DC movies. They didn't do well. That's proof that people have abandoned DC. Okay, it's DC then. All right. Then explain the Marvels. Then explain Wish. Then explain Mission Impossible. Then explain Indiana Jones. It's not superhero fatigue. It's not anti-Disney. It's not anti-DC. People just aren't going to the damn movies anymore. And yeah, you're going to a handful Well, Barbie did well. Oppenheimer did well. Mario did well. The fact that you can name all the ones that did well on like one hand just tells you. It just cements it. But anyway, there we go. That's where we stand right now. It is, yeah, look at this. Jacob says it right here. Pretty much every year, every studio this year has a flop. Yes, some big ones too. Big ones. Yep. It's the way it goes. It's just been a crappy year at the box office across the board for everybody, with the few bright spots. The few bright spots being Barbie, Oppenheimer, Mario. Horror movies always do well, but again, they're very low budget. You know, that's the thing. If there's one thing we learned this year, it's you got to keep your budgets low. You got to keep your budgets low. I'll tell you the blueprint. If you want to move forward with superhero movies, the blueprint I'm going to give you was a flop, but it's not because of the budget. I'll tell you that much. Shazam 2 is the Shazam Fury of the Gods. That's the blueprint. You make more superhero movies like Shazam Fury of the Gods, you're going to be back on top in no time, because that movie was done on a relatively low budget and it looked good. Special effects didn't look bad. Nobody walked out of that movie and said the effects were crap. No, looked good. Looked really good. It didn't perform for a number of reasons. You can give any number of reasons why it didn't perform, but it wasn't because the effects look bad. So you start bringing in more movies like on a Shazam 2 budget, make them look as good as Shazam 2 did on that kind of budget, you're going to have some hits. It's like if you can do Superman 2 for the budget you did, or Superman Legacy. I don't know what the budget for Superman Legacy is, but if you can bring in a Superman Legacy for a Shazam Fear of the Gods budget, Shazam isn't as popular a character as Superman. More people are going to go see a Superman movie than a Shazam movie. You're going to have a hit on your hands. You bring in some Marvel movies, you bring in some of the Marvel characters on a Shazam 2 budget. That lower budget, you don't have to hit $1 billion. When I don't have the Shazam budget in front of me, but it was relatively low. That's the way you make your movies. Now, Shazam didn't do well for a number of reasons, but the thing is, all Shazam had to do was be moderately successful, and it would have been very successful because of the budget, which is what the horror movies are doing. The horror movies, they make them on a real low budget, and they perform well. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I think we've been going for almost an hour. So come back, join us again, and we will be having a giveaway in the near future. I want to thank everyone for joining me. And as always, keep wearing those pajamas. And Merry Christmas. If we don't do one of these before Christmas, Merry Christmas to you.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the plastic feet.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Tell everyone you meet.
Keep wearing those pajamas
With the back door flap.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Don't open it, it's a trap.
Oh no,
It's a trap. Some people call them bitches, some people call them
jammies.
They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander Adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
I know we're having fun.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
And now the song is done.